going. Get this thing going this early morning, this early Sunday morning. We got an early game because we're playing on the East Coast, y'all. 10 o'clock game. If you're on the West Coast, that is. Y'all know what it is, man. Appreciate everybody pulling up. Welcome to Ready to Tape. We got the pregame show for the Raiders going up against the Jaguars. Yeah, that's too low. That's way too low. Let me pull that thing up. Yeah. But if I can, I know a few people going to probably pull up. Made this stream a little late. We got Raider Scorpio in the building. Yes, sir. Appreciate you pulling up, dog. If you can, give the thumbs up. Get a thumbs up. Make sure the audio and the visuals are clear. But I appreciate everybody that's going to pull up to this one, man. Appreciate everybody that's going to pull up to this one. Going to do a quick share real quick. Make sure we get this out there. But everybody that is pulling up, appreciate you guys. A hell of a game going on this one. Hell of a game going on at this one. I see people pulling up on us now. NorCal Jesse in the building. Appreciate you. Shout out to you. Salute to the guy. Digi Prez in the building. What's up with it? What it do? What it do? E Maney is rocking with us. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Jesse, you know what it is, Jesse. Shout out to you, man. Good morning and good morning to the nation. Everybody pulling up right now. Eric, I see you, man. Appreciate you pulling up as always. Sean Donahue, Raiders. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's time. And yes, we are live. We are live. But the thing is, man, I need to know. Is this game even going to make up for last week's crusher? Is this game going to make up for last week? And I think as Raider fans, we kind of got the breath taken away from us playing against the Saints, laying that goose egg out there in New Orleans, and really going up against the Saints. Even if we win, will it provide us with any kind of, I guess, makeup for last week? And I don't think so. I definitely don't think so, man. And it's the Jags. I feel you. Edgar V. He said it right here. Edgar V says it. He says, no, really, it's the Jags, and that's kind of how I'm feeling. So what is it going to take for us to make up for last week in this 2-5 start to the season? That's kind of what I'm thinking. Oh, here we go with the troller. I know we got some modders in here. If you guys can, go ahead and put this user, block them, put them on timeout, something like that. If I don't have any moderators, go ahead and let me know, and then I'll just put the user on timeout as of now. I think I have some modders. Aren't you a modder, SVT? Let me know. But shout out everybody in the chat still, man. I see y'all pulling up. E Maney, what's good with you, man? Miguel, he says, what's good, Ray? Where's the logic? Good morning, brother. Stay blessed. Yes, sir. We're going to bring the logic today. And I appreciate y'all pulling up. Mello in the building. Good day to you. And it is game day, brother. It is game day. Graham Cam, fans deserve a W today. And it's like our bro said, though, it's the Jags. So at what point are we going to be able to get over laying that goose egg? At what point are we going to get over this 2-5 record? And this is kind of where I want to start off this morning, because it's the Jags, man. And I don't think I will feel good about going to Jacksonville and beating the Jaguars, because I don't think that's a very solid victory in my book. Trevor Lawrence, he's still young. You still got to give him time. But they're not successful in this moment. They got a new coach as well. We got a new coach. They're basically sitting at the same record as us. So where's the excuses, right? So we have to go in there and get the victory, but I don't think it's going to make up for any lost time against the Saints or just this season in general. Agent Red, what's good with you, man? We in here. Yes, sir. You know what it is. Digi Prez on it. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Thank you very much. How many touchdowns for Josh? Honestly, hear me out, y'all. I think this is going to be a Derek Carr game. And I think this is going to be a Derek Carr game. I could be completely off with this one. Nah, not a mod yet. How the hell you not a mod, bro? That's crazy. I got to figure that out. I know you could do it on the app on the phone, but I'm going to have to figure that out once I get the chance, man. Don't let me forget SVT. If I forget, just let me know on Instagram. Let me know on Instagram so I don't forget. Send me a DM, please. But I think this is going to be a game for Carr, honestly, man. I think because of how last week went, he's going to want to come out guns blazing. Now, that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. But Lena, she says, for real, I was like, get that fool out of here. Yeah. He was being weird. He was on it. Jesse is on it. Appreciate you, Jesse. Eric says, I think the locker room needs the dub for sure. Well, most definitely, but it's the Jags, right? How can you feel good about beating up the Jags? You can't. I'm going to have to make you a mod too as well, Imani. Most definitely. I don't have a pen or else I would write this down, but most definitely. Who is Rich? And why are we calling him A four-legged animal. Well, who is Rich and why are we calling him a four-legged animal? Like, what's going on? Kevin Lurker in the building. What's good with you, man? Appreciate you pulling up on us. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Todd Davis in the building. Morning. Appreciate you too, man. He says, morning, Ray. How you doing, bro? Let's go, Nation. I'm doing great, man. Had 3 12-hour shifts these past 3 days. Now I get to wake up, watch the Raiders game, come up on here, talk a little bit about the Jags, talk a little bit about the Raiders, and see where we're going to go moving forward, because I don't think this game is really a stepping stone. I honestly don't think this game was a stepping stone. I feel like the Texans game was where it was supposed to start. And that was a stepping stone. You beat New Orleans, you beat the Jags, and then you have that 3-game winning streak. I was really confident in this team and thought we were going to do that, guys. I was completely wrong. I was completely wrong, man. And I really thought we were going to go on a 3-game winning streak. I really did. Late, but I'm here. What's up, Nation? Shout out to Z for pulling up on us, man. Cal says, we cannot sleep on the Jags D-line. Well, let's go ahead and look at it real quick. Let's go ahead and take a quick preview of what the Jags are looking like. So as of right now, if you look at the Jags, they're sitting not too bad. They're really not sitting too bad with the 10th ranked defense in the league. I didn't realize their defense was ranked 10th. Now, of course, we're only taking these stats for face value, which you can't always do. You take it with a grain of salt. But the fact that they're saying 10th in defense in the entire league, I can't be too mad at that. They got a young corner in Tyson Campbell who should be covering Devontae Adams. That's a matchup to look out for because, we need a bounce-back game from Devontae Adams, guys. Last week, I felt like we should have really taken advantage of the Saints, the fact that they had their corners out. Marshawn Lattimore didn't even play, guys. And this was Devontae Adams' worst game being with the Raiders. So let's go ahead and watch this matchup between him and Tyson Campbell and this 10th-ranked defense and see how everything transpires. Now, when you look at the stats individually for the pass game, their pass defense and their rush defense, they're 12th in touchdowns, passing touchdowns, 22nd in yards. But then when it comes to rushing, they're 22nd in touchdowns and 12th in yards. So probably need to pass the ball down the field just to get it to the end zone and then be able to punch it in with the run game based on these face value statistics. Now, the Jags have a 10th ranked defense. That's pretty impressive. I ain't going to lie. That's pretty impressive. Emmanuel says, we need a 3-game winning streak right now to even begin to matter. I agree, bro. And this is why I just felt like I was so confident in this team. And I know a lot of you guys would probably agree that, we could have done that against the Houston, the New Orleans Saints, and then the Jags today. So it's just unfortunate we couldn't lock it in against the Saints. Dreaded One in the building was good with you, man. He says, for the Raiders to make up for a 2-5 start, win 5 in a row, salute to the nation. And it seems far-fetched to win 5 in a row, to be honest, Dreaded One. Like, if you look at the way the schedule was set up, we could definitely go on a 5-game winning streak if you talk about last year, because we did a 6-game winning streak, correct? But when you talk about this year, I feel like because it's the first year and the obvious issues have come out about this team, right? The obvious issues has come out that the scheme is too difficult to learn. The players are still trying to grasp the concept, and Josh McDaniels is not shying away from his scheme. This is where we're standing. Here's Josh McDaniels being stubborn, not wanting to change anything in his scheme, and here's the players having difficulty with it. And then there's the gap in between to where we're not connecting. And this is where we're having issues. And is it Josh McDaniels being stubborn that you guys would say, okay, this is where the buck stops? We're struggling and Josh McDaniels isn't adjusting his scheme to fit to the players? Or would you say it's more the players need to figure out this scheme sooner rather than later, and Josh McDaniels continue to be stubborn and want his scheme to be done the way it is? How do you even chop that one up? Let me know down in the comments, Dreaded One. The coach's learning year at our expense. Yes, at our expense. That's a very good point, Kevin Lurker. It's the coach's learning year at our expense. 100% agree. Isaac, what's good with you, brother? Pulling up on us, man. Appreciate you pulling up. If y'all can, don't forget to hit that like button, y'all. We're about 10 minutes deep into this thing, man. If y'all can, hit that like button. Let's see if we could touch 100 likes. Go make a play. Hit that thumbs up. Dragon Hendricks in the building. Yo. Appreciate you pulling up on us, man. How about a W? Most definitely. We finna get that W. Shout out to Digital Press. Mike Moore says it has to be DC game. He's long due for one. Yes, I would love to see DC come out here, throw for 300 yards. Really, my prediction coming into this game when I was thinking about it is that DC would throw for 300 yards and throw for 2 touchdowns. I really think it's going to be one of those DC games. If he threw for over 3 touchdowns, that'd be amazing because we haven't seen one of those in a long time. But like Mike Moore said, it's a long due for DC to go out there and lead this team. Josh Jacobs has been carrying this team on his back, and I'm sure his back is hurting at this point. He can't go out there and score 3 touchdowns every game and rush for 150 yards. That's just not realistic, especially when you have so many damn playmakers on this team. You should be able to spread the ball around. So we'll see what happens, man. I think it's going to be one of those DC games. Diego Escobar says, Big Bro Ray was good with it. Shout out to you, Escobar. Appreciate you pulling up. The new coach excuse, don't cut it. Look at Miami. They're killing it with the new coach. Exactly. I always love using that because you could even talk about the 9 other new head coaches, because I believe there was a total of 10 head coaches, y'all, that started with a new team. You talk about the Giants. You talk about the Dolphins, us, the Raiders, the Broncos. The Broncos have a better record than us. Like, how do the Broncos have a better record than us? They got a new quarterback. They got a new head coach. They just traded away Bradley Chubb. Like, how are they having a better record than us? That's what's most confusing to me. What's good with it? Obi, he pulled up with a super. He says, you think Arnett, Averett get better in we run JJ? Well, yeah, I don't know if Averett's going to get better, man. He's been looking lost these last couple of weeks, and it could be because he's coming off of that IR. Let me pull my chair up real quick, man. Coming off of that IR, but I don't know, man. I would rather run them young dudes. Let's be honest. Is Averett going to be coming back next year? Let's think about it like this. Is Averett going to be coming back next year? I don't know. He's on a 1-year contract. We have Nate Hobbs, correct? So we know Nate Hobbs is going to be staying here. Rocky Sin has been playing pretty well. So I don't see us keeping Averett over Rocky Sin. So those are 2 corners that we have dominant in our defense, Hobbs and Rocky Sin. Now, when you talk about that third corner, Averett's not playing slot. He's playing outside. So the 2 corners that we named, we know those are going to be those 2. So I don't see Averett really staying around. So I would really love to get those young guys in instead of Averett, like Sam Webb. If Sam Webb's going to be a young guy that we want to coach up, keep around, that's on kind of the back end of the depth chart or the roster, then why not just let him get that playing time in if you already can predict Averett is not going to be here next year? That's just kind of how I see it, man. Shout out to Willie Wayne, DW in the building. What's happening, man? The number says Waller is out, and we're going to have to touch on that. We're going to have to touch on that subject, but let me catch up to the chat real quick. Their defense is ranked 17th, I believe. Maybe. I don't know if those numbers are updated, but I believe they are 10th right now. Giants have a lot of physicality. Definitely going to be big hitters out there. Most definitely, man. Peterson is definitely going to get them situated, especially on the defense side of the ball. That's what got them to the Super Bowl when he was on the Eagles. He had that defense. Nation, hit the like button for Big Ray. Appreciate you, Kenny. Shout out to DC, man. You know what it is, Kenny. Most definitely appreciate you always pulling up on us. Anish says, go on Doc's Live. Appreciate you, man. We'll have to link one time. You know what I mean? Whenever Doc's invites me, sends that invitation, shoots me a DM or something and wants me to pull up, I just haven't got that invitation in some time, but we definitely be in communications. Raider Justin says they have a really good pass rush. Our O-line needs to step up today. And this is the thing. I'm conflicted when it comes to the defense, coaching, and the quarterback right now, guys. You know, hear me out, okay? Hear me out. I'm going to catch up to the comments. But hear me out, y'all. When you watch the Saints game, when you guys rewatch the Saints game, when you guys watch the film on the Saints game, did Derek Carr not have plenty of time to pass the football, y'all? I'm sorry, but he had plenty of time. How many times did we watch Derek Carr drop back and get more than average time than any other quarterback gets to pass the ball, and he would get sacked? And I'm not saying that it's all Derek Carr's fault. Maybe the receivers weren't open. Maybe it wasn't the right play. But you talk about a guy that's able to drop back, look at his reads, move around, and still not get sacked, but then he doesn't throw the football after 4 or 5 seconds, and then you can't. Are you blaming the offense for that, offensive line for that, or are you blaming the quarterback? And that's where I'm conflicted right now. I don't know if it's so much the O-line, man. Every single statistic, even if you watch the film, it matches up, guys. Like, literally, this O-line matches up with every statistic, even when you watch the film. They're either average or they're on the cusp of being top 10 offensive line. Like, let's be honest, guys. It's just the truth. And so when I watch the game and I'm thinking in my head, okay, Josh Jacobs still ran for an average of 4+ yards a carry. Josh Jacobs ran for 10 for 40, 43 yards. So he's averaging more than 4 yards a carry against the Saints. He just rushed for 150 yards in 3 games in a row with 3 touchdowns. We've been controlling the line of scrimmage. So when you talk about the O-line, and then you watch Derek Carr able to drop back and have a lot of time to make throws, but he just doesn't get the ball out. At what point do you say, what is the offensive line supposed to do? You know, they will give up a sack here and there. Every offensive line does. But does every single player on this offense need to be elite in order for us to be efficient or in order for us to be good consistently? Because it's the same offensive line that played against the Broncos, the Chiefs, the Chargers, all of that. It's the same offensive line. The Saints had one of the worst defenses in the league when we played them. So I'm just confused on where is that, right? Where is it? Is it the quarterback's taking too long to pass the ball? Is the play not the right call? The receiver's not getting open? Because the O-line is really giving a lot of time. Man. Shout out to Gun and Smoke. He says, bro, he's not a new head coach, though. He's been one, and he's been a coach for years. Gun Smoke, I agree 100%, G. Double G, I agree 100%. He's not even really that new. You know what I mean? Don't worry, says Raids hat game, though. Yeah, appreciate you, dog. Appreciate you, man. If y'all ever want to check out these hats, make sure to go check out Redemption brand, man. Appreciate everybody. Jack Kenneth says, what's the word on Devontae and Waller? They playing? So Devontae Adams is definitely playing, y'all. He's going to be out there. But as far as Darren Waller, geez Louise, this dude's still out with a hamstring injury. He is listed on the Raiders injury report. So, I mean, it is what it is at this point. I wasn't really expecting him to come back, and you don't want him to come back unless he's 100% healthy. Let's be honest. Like, there's no point in risking any type of injury to Waller for what? You know what I mean? Like, there's no point in doing that. Let me see if I can pull up this injury report for us real quick, man. I know this injury report somewhere. Where the hell is injury report at? Well, really, basically, the injury report is Darren Waller is out, guys. That's pretty much the injury report. So he's just another game without Waller. Let's see how many games this man has missed, though, so far. What is this? His 4th game in a row that he's missed? Let me see. So he missed week 5. So about 3. Okay. Let me catch up to the chat real quick, man. Should have just IR'd him. That's what I was thinking. Why didn't they just put him on IR? But in comparison, you think about Keenan Allen over with the Chargers. He got a similar injury, and he's been in and out, and he never went on IR. So that's why I don't know if it's definitely a week-to-week thing, I guess. But, you know, in hindsight, we definitely should have said, why not just put him on IR? I feel you on that, Boogie. I've heard that question a couple times. Hammies are real, bro. Yeah, it's a lingering injury. And not to say that it's not a significant injury or anything, but when we were talking about Darren Waller last year, in the midst of the season, we had brought up the fact that he's having a bunch of injuries last year in the middle of the season. He's dealing with the injuries. He's going to be older. He's going to be 30 years old. And then going into this offseason, how can you give him a new contract when he has 2 years left? He had 2 years left. It's not like Max Crosby, Hunter Renfrow. Those guys only had 1 year left. So they'd be playing on a contract worth pennies to the dollar. Of course, they would need an extension. But Darren Waller still had a contract with 2 years left on it. Maybe no guaranteed money, but there's 2 years left and you're getting $8 to $10 million. Now, the fact that we went out and restructured him and we missed out on the opportunity to get a first-round pick or a second-round pick for him and save the cap money, that's where I kind of got pissed off. That's where I was like, yo, I wanted to trade this dude, but look, it is what it is. Nothing to go down that road right now. SVT, my guy, he says, just look up Waller's stats so far and how much we paying him. Yeah, it's that simple, dog. Let's see. I know Love Raid and all, but what, Darth Vader? What happened? What happened, Vader? What happened, Vader? Yeah, learning Mandarin. Yep, I feel you. Darren Waller equals Trent Brown. I wouldn't say that so much, but actually, that's a good comparison because they're two crazy athletic players that end up getting a bag from the Raiders and just miss hella games. One thing I would say though is that when Trent Brown was in the game, when Trent Brown played for us, y'all, I don't know. I feel like he just changed the game for us. When it came to pass blocking, when it came to run blocking, he changed the game for us, man, because he was that big of an offensive lineman. But Darren Waller, you think about Darren Waller, we won 6 games in a row last year without Darren Waller. We won the last game we won, we didn't have Waller. So it's kind of difficult to comprehend that one, offensive line and also a tight end, but it is what it is. Get rid of Waller and sign Jacobs. Well, at this point, to be honest, Scotia and Raider, we're not going to get rid of Waller because of his contract. So it's done deal now. You know what is real? Guaranteed money and how that clown has folded. Exactly, Will. Exactly. He's folded and he got a bag and we're stuck with it because he's got guaranteed money. He will be with us next year because I believe his dead cap hit next year is $20 million. I believe it's $20 million next year. So that's going to be a tough one. He ain't going nowhere. He said, sell that man. Yeah, I wanted to last year. And people said, yo, Ray, you tripping. But look, it is what it is. It is what it is. Shout out to Pyro for pulling up on us, man. Appreciate you, dog. Robert in the building. He says Jarrett might get more playing time today. I don't. Hey, maybe if we blow them out, and then maybe in the fourth quarter he comes in because we blow them out. But that's the only way, man. That's the only way. Mike Morris, he says, I saw that the Packers were really pushing for getting Waller before the trade deadline, and we deemed him too valuable. This is what I'm saying, y'all. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, this is so frustrating, Mike, because the simple fact that what do we hear all trade deadline season, right? Cleveland Farrell might get moved. Jonathan Abram might get moved. These defensive players might get moved. But we never heard anything about any offensive players getting moved. We never heard anything about trading for a big-time defensive player, a defensive tackle. We never heard anything come out like that. But when it comes to the offense, it is so biased. This team is so biased towards the offense that even when you get a reasonable trade for a player that's on offense, it's not good enough. Even when this guy is not even on the damn field, I don't know. It's just a joke to me. The offensive bias on this team is crazy. GM Ziegler, and I think the fact that Ziegler and Josh McDaniels are butt buddies, and Ziegler is probably going to not totally listen to Josh McDaniels, but because he knows his guy is on the offensive side of the ball, he's going to do things to favor him instead of on the defense. And the fact that you already have done this, right? People think we need an elite offensive line all the way around. I don't think so. We need an all elite wide receiver room, an all elite tight end room to win. And you shouldn't have to, but that's what we have nearly. And it's kind of sad that we suck. So I'm not trying to hear about this too valuable stuff for the offense because we need to start moving towards the defensive minded football team. Like we used to be in the 80s. Shit. Emmanuel Lugo says, how do you feel about the fix is in the NFL due to the gambling, and this is all part of the plan to place us under the radar to set us up for a Super Bowl win in the next 2 years? So this is basically a conspiracy theory with the gambling system in Vegas, and I don't really buy it. I'll be honest, I don't buy it at all whatsoever. I don't think the NFL is really rigged like to that point. I think the referees just suck. And, teams just play. I don't think it's rigged like that, like a lot of people do. I don't think it's set on to where Vegas or any point spread or anything like that. So, personally, I don't really get into that, man. You just got to go out there and win football games. That's all I think. Why wouldn't they have done it sooner? We moved to Vegas a few years ago. We could have been going to the Super Bowl now. So, I don't know. I don't know about that. He is a great tight end, but health is wealth. He's a good tight end. He's a very good tight end. But I've been having concerns since last year based on the simple fact that he doesn't break tackles. He doesn't break tackles, guys. This is what annoys me. He doesn't break tackles, and he doesn't make any spectacular catches. So unless the ball is perfectly thrown to him, he's not going to go up there and make this one-hand crazy catch over two bodies and get it. But you would think he would because he's 6'6", like 250 pounds. Wouldn't you think someone like that would be doing some spectacular catches over everybody? But he doesn't, and he doesn't break any tackles for being that big. I watched this dude let corners tackle him, and it's like, bro, these are the people that don't tackle. Shout out to Rocket Steady. He says, "What up, Ray? Appreciate you pulling up, man. We've been up here for almost an hour and a half, y'all. So if you guys can, make sure to hit that like button. Let's see if we can get over 100 likes up in here. Appreciate y'all pulling up." RW says we never blow anyone out. Exactly. That's just absurd. He's missing 1.3 a game that he's out. No, he's not. That's not true. That is not true. He doesn't miss 1.3 million. I'm not sure where that statistic came from, but he's not missing 1.3 million a game. I don't know about that. I would have to see. Someone have to send me that link and show me how to break that down to where Darren Waller's missing 1.3 million a game. So basically, you're telling me that he's lost half of his salary this year already? Yeah, right. Yeah, right. That's a lie. Add it up. His cap hit this year is 10 million. So if his cap hit is 8 to 10 million and he's missing 1.5 or 1.3 a game, so in 3 games, you're telling me he's going to lose out on $4 million in 4 games. Y'all got to start doing your own research. I don't believe that for a second. Yeah, that's hard to believe. What's Carlson contract or pay looking like? I don't think it's too bad. Honestly, I don't think it's too bad. I remember seeing it. He's a kicker. I mean, and he's our best. I mean, he's a top 5 kicker easily. You could say top 3. You could say one of the better ones. Obviously, Justin Tucker is going to take that rap for kicker, but he's solid. JK says, Raid, what is the over-under on Chandler Jones on getting a sack? Oh, snap. The over-under on Chandler Jones getting a sack is probably like, shit, man. He's got a half a sack in 7 games. The over-under on it right now is, I guess, under. I'm under until he proves otherwise. I don't care what the number is. It could be a half a sack. I'm under. I am under. 0.5. Over-under on Chandler Jones, 0.5 sacks today. I'm going under until he proves me otherwise. G. Rich says trade Carr first. He has a no trade clause, G. Rich. So depends how that would go. If you'd want to go to the traded party, maybe the Texans. I don't know. And we get Davis Mills to hold this over for a year or two. And I don't know. But keep everyone else. It's Carr. How does people not see it? Waller don't want to play with Carr. Why play with a scared quarterback who can't win? All right, G. Rich. I think that's a little far-fetched. Just based off the fact that you start out with trade Carr and he has a no trade clause. And then you say Carr, it's Carr. Well, it could potentially be Carr, but also coaching. I agree, it's Carr and coaching. Because when it comes to coaching, I feel like it's the quarterback's job to push back, right? We've seen it with Rich Gannon. We see it with a lot of better quarterbacks. They're willing to push back, and I think that's what Derek Carr is missing. Waller don't want to play with Carr, and I don't know if that's 100% true, but I don't know, man. That seems like a lot of frustration in that comment. Shout out to Bo. He says, should bench the coach, let someone else call the plays. Yeah, I agree. But at the end of the day, we need to simplify this stuff. T. Deasley in the building. You all the same mofos that told me he was the best tight end in the league. Who was saying he was the best tight end in the league? I definitely said he was top 3. I never thought Darren Waller was better than Travis Kelce. I don't think I would ever say Travis Kelce has been the best tight end in the league for the last 10 years. So it'd be hard to say that. It'd be hard to say he's the best. But as far as top 3, I definitely used to say he was top 3. Yes, bro, butt buddies. Or Foxy, yes. Excuse me, yes, butt buddies, Foxy. Waller the Staller. Here we go. Icy coming through. Shout out to Icy Nate, man. Appreciate you, brother. He says, that's hella true. Travis never lets DBs tackle him easily, especially against us. I seen this man, Travis Kelce, run around DBs, break a tackle, and go for a 40-yard run off of a 5-yard catch. I'm waiting for Waller to do that kind of stuff. Yo, what's good, right? Hopefully we get this dub today. We have to get the dub. It's the Jags. And even if we win, you won't see me change my attitude. I'm not going to be optimistic, y'all. I'm sorry. I've had people write me on Instagram and be like, man, we got to be a little optimistic. Why? Why? We should be boycotting this Raiders team. We should be boycotting the Raiders team, y'all, because the simple fact that we go out there, use our time, money, effort, damn emotions are all out there for this team, and they go out there and they disappoint us. Why would we be optimistic at being 2-5? It's almost like being Dave Ziegler and saying you're impressed with Josh McDaniels, even though he started 2-5. I was beside myself when I heard him say impressed. I wanted to reach through the screen and knock him upside his head. Say, boy, you done lost your mind? Yo, what up, nation? Shout out to Sun or River. Appreciate you pulling up, dog. SVT says he would be in the negative. It would be in the negative. Here you go. Exactly, Ray. Shout out to Pyro. We need to draft more defense than offense. Yo, you seen that tweet, Icy Nate, where PFF was saying we draft an offensive tackle in a top 10 with a top 10 pick? If we drafted an offensive tackle with a top 10 pick, I would just start talking so much trash about this team again, bro. I swear. Should have sent it to Green Bay for a second rounder. Would have been beautiful. That would have been so beautiful. We could have got a quarterback with that second rounder. We could have got a linebacker, a safety, a freaking D tackle, another edge rusher, anything with that second round pick, bro. Anything for the defense, but we don't. It would have been golden. We're already, Waller's not even not playing, so what's the big deal? Ray, shut that down with the quickness. Appreciate you, Obi. Appreciate you, Obi. Mike says, while we're here, RIP to, yes, sir. RIP to the guy. Yes, sir. The guy, the GOAT himself. Yes, sir. Ray guy. Appreciate that, Mike. Had to throw that one in there. True Raider for real. Get rid of Jones. We're stuck with Jones, y'all. As you guys know, we brought it up before on shows that it's the fact that Chandler Jones, his cap hit is brutal, guys. His cap hit is brutal. And there's nothing we could do about it, because if we try to do anything, with Chandler Jones, we're going to be losing a massive amount of money. And this is why I did not agree with, one, signing him. I didn't want him. He's older. Two, look at this contract, y'all. This is Chandler Jones's contract. 32 years old, guys. 32 years old. And it's a void year in 2025. So he's here for the next 2 years. But this is his dead money. His salary cap hit goes from $7 million to $20 million next year, and is $25 million dead cap money. So he's here next year for sure. We can let him go next year, but then we'll have to forfeit $7 million in dead cap. But $25 million. So he's not going anywhere, y'all. He's not going anywhere. Chandler Jones is here to stay for the next 2 years. Same thing with Darren Waller. You look at Darren Waller's contract, and it looks literally the same. It looks literally the same. You go ahead and take a look at Darren Waller's contract. But when you talk about it, it's a little flipped, because this year is the year, right? If you move on from Waller, whatever the case may be, a $20 million dead cap hit. Next year is a $9 million dead cap hit. Then that's when you get into the territory of not really losing much money. So these next 2 years, Waller is here without a doubt. And you would lose $9 million because you got to make up for that dead money. So yes, it would be very tough to move on for those guys, because we already locked them in with contracts. Kelsey always makes DBs look like fools. Yeah. And he breaks away, man. He breaks away. Bo says, damn, this year is freaking sickening. Yes, because I had high expectations, guy. I really had high expectations. What up, Ray? Bless me with that cap. Shout out to Eddie Sandoval, man. Yes, appreciate you. Appreciate you, dog. I wanted to keep 91. Didn't understand that. Too much hype. Crew Joe, I'll be honest. Yannick would have been fine, I feel like, in the system. I really do. But at the same time, I didn't mind trading him for Rocky Sin. What I would have done is just started Cleveland Farrell and Malcolm Kuntz. Like, have Malcolm Kuntz and Cleveland Farrell rotate alongside of Max Crosby. Go bring in a D tackle. That money you used for Chandler Jones, you could have used half of that to bring in a decent D tackle room and stack that D tackle room up with specialty players, and then have a little cap extra to save for whatever you wanted to do. But, that's not the route we took. And so we're sitting on our hands. We sat on our hands this trade deadline. We didn't trade Waller because we would have screwed ourselves out of cap money. So we kind of messed up there. Then you talk about the simple fact that we didn't trade for players that were available, like a Roquan Smith. How do you not trade? This is where, bruh, now it's, oh my goodness, now it's going full circle for me. Roquan Smith went for a second and a fifth round pick. And you're telling me we could have traded Waller for a potentially a first. We could have definitely traded him for a second. So potentially we could have used that second just to get Roquan Smith, a solid linebacker. Let's be honest. Is Roquan Smith a solid linebacker? I believe so. Like, if you don't think so, you just haven't watched football these last 4 years. Okay, so you're saying we could have traded Waller for a second and potentially maybe a second and a sixth. Turn around and use that to get Roquan Smith. Still have our draft picks going into 2023. So we wouldn't even have to worry about getting a linebacker, guys. We wouldn't. You could have Diablo next to Roquan Smith. You could have Jayon Brown next to Roquan Smith. That would be an elite pass coverage linebacking core, I feel like. Then you talk about still having your first and your second round pick going into the draft to where you could get a D tackle, or you could get a safety, or you can get another corner, or you could just get one. You could just get a D tackle in the second or the first, and then you turn around and use that second to go get your right tackle, or you turn around and use it to go add maybe another receiver, or I don't know, but it's just ridiculous, dog, the way this regime is moving, and I'm just upset with it. And it's hard for me to be optimistic. I'm serious, guys. Kevin Lurker says, let's hope Chandler gets his game back because he's going to be here. Hope he balls out like we hope. I agree, Lurker, because, you never want your players to go out there and play bad. But when they playing like shit, you got to call them out. You can't sit here and just hope. Because that's not going to work. It's not going to work. You just got to call it how you see it. And right now, he's not playing well. But I would like for him to go out there and be everything that we signed him to be. At least live up to that contract. I'll be pissed if Cohen plays like doo-doo again. Cohen is a solid left tackle, guys. Every dog has their day. I mean, Taylor Lewan is one of the better left tackles, and last year he gave up a bunch of sacks to the guy that we signed in Chandler Jones, right? So it's just a crazy dynamic when it comes to the offensive line. But I like Colton Miller. He's a solid offensive lineman. But yeah, he did have a rough game. Rodolph. Duran in the building was Gucci, man. He says Raiders defense bound to put T-Law over today. He probably going to look like the second coming of Payne. I don't know if he's going to look like Manny, man. I'm really hoping today is the kind of game to where we bounce back and show that we were in games early in the season because we're actually a good football team and we're nothing like the team we showed against the Saints, okay? I wouldn't be surprised if the defense still lets them put up around 20 points, maybe around 20 points, because the defense has been consistent all year as far as what they're willing to give up. They give up 30 to the Chiefs, but to everyone else, they give up 23 or 24 points or less. So they've been consistent in that aspect. I'm not really upset with them. Has Malcolm Koonce been getting any snaps lately other than special teams? No, he really hasn't. And this is where I'm confused. Like, what has Malcolm Koonce done to deserve this kind of disrespect? As Raider fans, we've seen him come in. As Raider fans, we've seen Malcolm Koonce come in and have production. Like, go opportunity to get some production. But yo, man, I'm looking. And we got 70 likes, y'all. We got 70 likes. How do we only have 70 likes, man? We got to hit that 100 number. So if y'all can, make sure to hit that like button. Go make a play. Let's see if we can get over 100 likes, y'all. Because if we get over 100 likes, that means we for surely going to win against these Jags. And I expect us to. I definitely expect us to. Shout out to Ruben Gonzalez with the super. He says, bench Chandler, put in Tyshawn Bowser, and he's a dog. I don't know if that would ever happen, man. I'll be honest. I don't know if that would ever happen, especially because of the kind of money you have in Chandler Jones. But what's interesting is you let go of a right tackle in Alex Leatherwood, right? Just to put this in perspective. You let go of a guy in Alex Leatherwood. We just drafted him in the first round. He's only played 1 year in the league. Yes, we owe him some money, but again, we need a right tackle. We need offensive line help. Was he that bad to where we needed to cut him? I guess so. But then when you watch Chandler Jones and we cash him out, all of a sudden that logic on why we let go of Cohen Miller is nothing compared to what we're holding to Chandler Jones. So now you could also say, well, Chandler Jones has a body of work throughout his career. And then you could talk about how Alex Leatherwood doesn't have a career to show for it, but he's a young guy that just got drafted the previous year. So it's confusing to me on what this regime is really looking at. Like, Chandler Jones hasn't done anything. He hasn't done anything more than Alex Leatherwood wasn't doing. Like, let's be honest. I watched Taysom Hill literally run right next to Chandler Jones, and Chandler Jones looked like he was trying to move in a fucking wheelchair to catch him. Like, it was embarrassing how slow Chandler Jones looked getting off of the edge to contain it in order to get Taysom Hill. Like, that's pathetic. It was pathetic. We paid this guy $20 million to do that. Okay. That's ridiculous. Mike Morris says Roquan Smith could have helped everyone. Yes. Because when you talk about a defense, who is the play caller? Who is the one out there making the decisions, getting everybody set up? It is the middle linebacker. Now, what happens when you're inconsistent at linebacker? What happens? Jayon Brown's hurt. Denzel Perriman is hurt. Masterson was the one with the green dot in the preseason predominantly. So when you talk about that, you're not getting consistent calls. You're not getting a consistent leader on the defense side of the football. This is what happens when you lack investment in linebacker and you lack investment on the D line, especially in the defensive tackle spot. So when you talk about having a linebacker that's constantly being changed, the one that's the play caller, Jayon Brown, now it's Denzel Perriman, now it's Masterson, now it's Diablo, now it's whoever we can find to even play, Blake Martinez. It's not going to be pretty. It's like changing the quarterback on the offense. Now we got someone making different checks and different calls. All of a sudden, they don't really know. Everyone's confused. And that's what Roquan Smith would have brought us. Consistency, a level playing field, and a great play caller, a very smart football player. Why do we underestimate all of these things when it comes to the defense, but we'll sit there and wipe the baby bottom ass of the offense? This shit is annoying. The bias is obvious. The bias is so obvious, and it's ridiculous. Star says Roquan Smith is good, but you want to pay him $25 million? Roquan Smith is getting $25 million? Roquan Smith is getting $25 million, Star? I did not see that. When did that happen? I did not see that. Someone show me that. Someone show me that. I did not see that. I'll be honest. I didn't see he was getting $25 million. That seems like a stretch. But I would rather pay him than Chandler Jones. I'll be honest. I would rather pay him than Chandler Jones. Roquan Smith is not getting paid more than Fred Warner, I don't think. Do you think that he's going to get paid more than Fred Warner? I don't know about that, man. That seems a bit far-fetched. I don't think so. Man. Roquan Smith would like a bum in this defense? I don't know, man. I honestly don't think so. This defense, I don't know, would thrive with him at middle linebacker. I think we've really underestimated what high price for Roquan to be brought in during a failure season. What are we, dude? I feel you, Tony Collins. I understand what your guys' perspective is of the season and of bringing in players. But why is it that all of a sudden we find excuses? Like, this is getting frustrating, man. Why do we find excuses to not bring in defensive players, but we can't find the excuse to not bring in offensive players? Like, we just gave Chandler Jones $20 million a year, but we can't give a young, elite linebacker, leader of the damn defense, in the middle of the defense, that kind of contract, that kind of deal. I'm just confused on that shit, bro. Like, what? Raider Black, appreciate you, dog. With the super, he says, Raider win today, mandatory for my... Bro, it's mandatory for my sanity. I need a 3-game winning streak, Black. I need a 3-game winning streak at the least. Like, this is ridiculous. Oh, my gosh. Ty, don't say this. Must avoid an Arden Key revenge game. Why do I feel like he may go off, bro? He may go off. He's gonna get carded today, huh? He's picking up holes in the run game. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I would have grabbed Roquan Smith. Y'all tripping. Y'all tripping. All of a sudden it's now all of a sudden it's a defensive player we could get that's elite talent, but nobody wants to get him because he costs too much. What? What? I didn't hear this when we gave a first and a freaking second for Devontae Adams and then gave him $30 million a year. What? And he got one catch for 3 yards in the last game. Like, bruh, this crazy, dog. Y'all, this, I don't know, man. I don't know. And then Waller will be playing the sideline with the weird smug face. This is the guy we paid. Everybody wanted to play Waller, but we can't pay a young stud linebacker. Man, that's just crazy. I don't know. I'm not sure where it's all at, bro. Yeah, in a wheelchair, dog. That motherfucker, that mug right there, bro, pissed me off. Roquan is getting 18. I'd pay 18. I would pay 18. You're telling me this is what I'm saying, bro. Why are we so afraid to pay elite players on the defense? 18 million for a star linebacker? Are we that worried? He's not getting 25 a year. He's not going to get that, bro. Like, he's not getting that. He's not getting that. He'd probably get closer to 20. 25 would be max. And even then, his cap hit would never be 25 million. It would never hit for 25 million. So it just sucks. It's just sad. It really is. It's really sad that we can never get through this mentality of, okay, it's time to start stacking up the chips on the defense side of the ball. It just sucks, man. We're never going to win until we get that mentality. And it's obvious. It's obvious we've been brainwashed as fans to think that everything belongs on the offensive side. And it's straight bullshit. It really is. We always have excuses to make good moves. Shake my head. Why? Exactly, Mike. Like, what? What are we talking about? That shit sounds ridiculous. This just sounds completely ridiculous. Roquan is like Perriman. Good in that part. A DT would have been huge. Pound of the table for Leonard Williams previous season. Again, rocking steady. He's a defensive player. So why would we trade for a defensive player, right? Because what? Leonard Williams is going to cost too much? Shit's just dumb. It's just crazy. It's just sad, man. Sunshine from the Jags. This man says sunshine. You funny, bro. 350? Hell no. Hell no. Ain't no way this man put up 350. Nuh-uh. I think it'll be a moderate game, but they only going to put up like 18 to 20 points, bro. And we're going to probably go out there and put up like 28. I'll be honest. I think this is going to be one of those games, especially after last week. I don't know. Maybe if Josh McDaniels did a little bit of adjustment, but at the end of the day, I don't know, man. I don't know if Josh McDaniels is that lenient when it comes to his scheme. All I've heard is that he's stubborn and he's not changing anything on his scheme until the players learn it. It's that simple. And really, it's because, you think about like Tyron Johnson, right? A guy that made a 53-man roster. I was just talking to my guy yesterday, my guy Ab. Shout out to Ab, bro. If Ab, if you in here, shout out to Ab. Was talking to him at UC Davis yesterday at the hospital. Shout out to you, man. He caught up with me. We were talking about this yesterday. You talk about players like Tyron Johnson who make the 53-man roster, speedster, right? Deep threat, speedster. We could have used him in the slide. We could have used him outside just to throw some bombs to him. But we let him go without really getting any burn. So where was the evaluation process there? It was in practice because he couldn't pick up the scheme. He couldn't pick up the system and the nuances. Because what they want to do in this offense, what people don't realize is it's not only understanding the playbook. This is more than just a playbook problem. This is more of Josh McDaniels wanting them to learn the nuances of what the defense does. Because the way this system is okay, we're going to call the play. Now, once we line up, we're already on the field lined up at the line of scrimmage. The wide receiver needs to know what he needs to do based on where the defense is going to be. And a lot of offenses aren't exactly like this because this is when the play changes. Players are going to change what they're going to do because of how they lined up for that play and how the defense looks. Because they're not going to know how the defense looks until they get to that line of scrimmage. Once the play is called in the huddle and they break. So you get to the line of scrimmage, now you know what the defense looks like. Now that receiver has to adjust his route. His route may completely change to a slant. Now he's going to go to a go or something. Or it's going to be, instead of a 2-yard quick slant inside, now it's going to be a deeper slant to where it's going to be a 5-yard slant now because of the way the defense is lined up. And that's how this is. And it's obviously difficult for the players. And when you have a guy in Devontae Adams to where it's too difficult for him, but he's the best receiver in the game, that's where, for me, that's where you draw the line and you say, Josh McDaniels, go out there and win the game with these damn players because you're only making them look bad when they've already been good. So, you know what I mean? Shout out to Ab, but it's all on McDaniels, man. Todd Davis, appreciate the super, brother. He says, I've said to get Roquan. I was told I didn't know football and that it was stupid. Same person said we need more offense. The same people we say we don't need Roquan Smith will use a first-round pick this draft to get a fucking tackle. You know how embarrassing that is? You know how ridiculous it is to even have the thought process of getting a tackle in the first round? You have to be a sick human, a sick human. You're torturing me with these mental gymnastics of wanting to go out and improve the offense still. It's a joke. It's literally a joke. And you go out there and talk about a Roquan Smith and they act like he's trash. I don't know. Roquan Smith has 7 career interceptions. Perriman has 7. And Roquan Smith is an all-around linebacker. He's a coverage linebacker. He could play the run. He's a leader. He has movement. He has speed. And we just act like we don't need good defensive players. But the offense needs every single position to be elite. We need an elite offensive line. Every player on the offensive line needs to be elite. We have Josh Jacobs. He's an elite running back. We need Devontae Adams. He's an elite wide receiver. We need Darren Waller, an elite tight end. Can't make this up. Can't make this up. Raider Gabe in the building. What's good with you, man? What up with a G? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right after this pregame show, you know what it is, man. Right after this pregame show, you know what it is. Shout out to Jack Kenna. Shout out to JK, man, pulling up. This is the link if anybody wants to check out the Redemption brand hats. This is going to be the link for it, man. Appreciate you putting it out there for us. Also, if you want to check it out, check out the description down below. Medwin says Carr is trash. Honestly, I don't think Carr is trash. Let's be honest. I don't think Carr is trash at all. I just don't think it's working out with the Raiders anymore. I just don't think it's working out for the Raiders anymore. He's not the guy we need to really step up, especially right now. We need him to step up and speak out for this football team to be successful because he's such a yes man and such a teacher's pet that he wants to please Josh McDaniels every wants, every need, and not really telling them like, yo, we suck. You need to do some different things in the offense so we could be successful. Or Derek Carr go to the huddle and call the play and tell them what he wants to be done instead of always listening to Josh McDaniels. Like, you got to grow a pair eventually. You got to grow a pair. Hey, Romo. Yeah, Romanowski was a dog, though. He was a different breed. I don't know. They don't make him like Romo no more. They wouldn't even allow a player like Romanowski in a stadium anymore. They would throw him in jail. They would put Romo in jail. What's a good streaming site to watch the game? Dofu Sports, Stream East, Crack Streams. I think Crack Stream is Stream East now. I don't know. Someone could confirm that. And someone else dropped some joints up in here. Ray, drafting OT first round would be Robert Gallery all over again. It would just be sad because it would just be sad day. It would just be a sad day. Team Raider in the building was handing, man. A hypothetical question. If the draft was today, would you rather draft a right tackle or DT if the players are rated equal? You already know the answer to that. I do not want an offensive lineman in the first. I do not want an offensive lineman in the second. I do not want an offensive lineman in the third. What I want is defense. It's that simple. Carr is average at best? No. Carr is at worst average. That's how I see it. Carr is at worst average. At best, Carr is a top 10 quarterback. That's how I see it. Carr is inconsistent, but I would say it's due to him lacking the ability to speak up because now he's in a new system. He has to learn this just like the rest of the players. When you have the best receiver in the league that's having a hard time picking up plays and running the wrong routes, you can't be too mad at the quarterback in that aspect. But at the same time, the quarterback is the second leader of this team outside of the coach. Who's going to listen more? Who are people going to listen more of, the coach or the quarterback? Probably the quarterback. The quarterback makes much more than anybody in the organization. Let's be honest. Nobody in the organization makes more than the quarterback. Nobody. You know how much power as a quarterback you have on a football team? Like, I don't think Carr understands the aspects of the dynamics of this business because he's not allowing his power to come in and adjust and make this team a winning culture because he's such a yes man. He makes more than everybody in this organization. Josh McDaniels probably makes like 6 to 8 million a year to be the Raiders coach. Probably 6 to 8 million a year. Because you guys think about it. Gruden was getting 10 million for 10 years. That was unheard of. Okay. That was just unheard of. Coaches did not get that. We have to understand coaches did not get that. So you got to think Josh McDaniels is probably getting 6 to 8 million if Gruden was getting 10 million. Carr is making basically 5 times as much as Josh McDaniels. Why the hell would you listen to somebody that doesn't even make half of what you make, a quarter of what you make? And you're the quarterback. Every time that ball snaps, it's in your hands. Carr's got to step it up, bro. He's got to. Prez, shout out to Cuz. He says Carr has potential. I think his time slot is expiring, but it's really the fact he needs a system that's going to complement him. He just needs to stay in the system. Like, stay with the consistent system, stay with the consistent team. If we would have just kept the same coaching staff as last year, which I wouldn't have minded too much. I did want a new coaching staff, but if we would have stuck with the same coaching staff, I wouldn't have been too upset. Especially if we brought in Adams and brought all these players back. Yeah, it would have been lethal. I would have just wanted to get rid of Tom Cable. That's it. I definitely would have wanted to get rid of Tom Cable. SVT says we've all seen everyone on this team have some kind of success at their position. The only odd man out is McDaniels. He isn't proven as a head coach. And I agree. That's a very good point. People have said that. Carr, we've seen him ball out. He did pretty well last year. We know Josh Jacobs can ball out. But one thing is Josh Jacobs is having his best year yet with Josh McDaniels this year. So that's one person we could definitely say. And the offensive line, I would say, is a lot better with Josh McDaniels. So I would say the O-line and the running back is way better with this team than they have ever been with John Gruden or previous. Let's be honest. Josh Jacobs is breaking records out here, at least franchise records. Talking about Marcus Allen, talking about records by Marcus Allen, y'all. Like, that's a big accomplishment. Big accomplishment, man. Shout out to Star with the super. He says, LOL, my dad told me we went to a Chief game back in the day and Romo knocked out a gunner because he ran on the Raiders sideline. Yo, Romo's a dog, Star. Like, shout out to your pops for that story, man, because Romo's a dog, man. And if we had a player like that, he'd probably last maybe one game before he'd get kicked out of the stadium. But I wish we had a linebacker that was willing to go out there and put people on their backs, man. Carr's floor is the pace, man. Jeez Louise, man. Give this man a break. Carr was able to fry Paul Gutierrez, but not the criticism he's received on the field. So, oof. Damn, that's right. That's 100% true, man. I don't even remember what Gutierrez said that got Carr so upset about it. Defense hasn't scared the opposite team in 25. Yeah, of course. I haven't done nothing. Josh is whack. Yeah, Josh McDaniels is. Yeah, I hate to say this, but we should tank for Bryce Young. I'm not a big fan of tanking, but one thing I don't like, and that's going to happen. This is going to happen, guys. 100% it's going to happen. What's going to end up happening is, like we've seen in many years before, is we'll have this shitty record, right? What's going to happen is week 14 we might win a game. Week 17 we're going to probably win a game. So what's going to end up happening is towards the end of the season we're going to be top 10 in draft picks. But in the last 4 weeks, we're going to probably want to win a couple of games, and it's going to push us back to like pick 14, 15, 16. And you know how dramatic of a change that is, going from like 9th, picking from like 8 to 10, now getting moved back to like 14 to 16 because you wanted to win a couple games that literally mean nothing. That's just horrendous, man. It's just terrible. But Kevin Lurker said, let's try this again. Enjoying a potent strain today. Yes, sir. Shout out to Lurker, man. That's a great way to move on and move out of this one. We've been here for an hour, man. Appreciate everybody that's been pulling up. Shout out to Lurker, man. That's a great way to go out with this one. Let's effing go. Shout out to everybody that did pull up. If you guys can, make sure to hit that like button. Appreciate y'all tuning in. And don't forget, we're going to be pulling up for the post-game live. We got to talk about what they look like against the Jags. And I'm really hoping we come out with this dub, and we should. We really should. Shout out to you. Love all of y'all, man. Shout out to Prez, man. Love you, cuz. Appreciate you pulling up, man. Lurker, like he says, Raiders. I'll get with y'all later till after the game, man. Till next time, Raider tape.